Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine, if you will, a place just steeped in American history, the birthplace of presidents, of industry.
Mm.
Now, picture that same place, somehow rising from the ashes of a nuclear apocalypse, only to face another truly awful fate.
It really is an incredible story. Resilience, betrayal, and just the harshness of survival.
And that's exactly what we're diving into today. This is our deep dive into the compelling story of Quincy, Massachusetts.
Yeah, we're pulling heavily from historical accounts and the post-apocalyptic records found in Quincy, a city's rise, fall, and ruin.
Right.
Our mission here is to sort of peel back the layers, the deep history, that surprising rebirth, and then, yeah, the tragic second fall. It's a city defined by endurance, but also, as we'll see, vulnerability.
What a journey that sounds like for you, our listener. We're really going on a trip through time, through devastation, to figure out how Quincy, with this incredible past, ended up with such an unimaginable future.
Well, if you look at Quincy's beginnings, it's pretty clear why people settled there for millennia, actually. The land itself.
Exactly.
Well,
It's unique geographically. You've got the Blue Hills Reservation, those 22 hills on one side, and then 27 miles of coastline along Boston Harbor and the islands. So resources galore.
abundant resources, you mean? Like what specifically?
Well, fertile soil right by the coast, perfect for farming. And the harbor, obviously great for fishing, for trade. It just drew people in.
So long before Europeans, Native Americans were thriving there, the Massachusetts people.
Absolutely. They knew the value of the land. Then the Europeans arrived, drawn by the exact same things, and they brought those names we all know now: Adams, Quincy, Hancock.
Names tied right to the founding of the country.
No kidding. Quincy quickly got known as the City of Presidents, and for good reason.
Not just one president.
2. John Adams and his son, John Quincy Adams, both born there, plus its connection to John Hancock.
First signer of the Declaration of Independence. Wow.
And governor of Massachusetts. Yeah, quite a pedigree for one town.
Amazing. And its early history as a town itself. Right. So it was settled way back in 1625. Briefly part of Dorchester, then the North Precinct of Braintree in 1640.
Okay.
Finally became the town of Quincy in 1792, named after Colonel John Quincy.
Who was connected to the Adams family.
Yep, Abigail Adams's maternal grandfather, and John Quincy Adams's namesake. It all ties together.
But it wasn't just politics, right? You mentioned industry.
Oh, absolutely. Quincy was an economic powerhouse. Seriously. For over a century, the granite quarrying industry was massive there.
Building stone for.
So many iconic structures, and they had the Granite Railway, the first commercial railroad in the whole U.S. Right now.
Incredible innovation for the time.
Really. And shipbuilding, too, at the Four River Shipyard. A
Yeah.
huge contributor, building ships, building the nation, literally.
And even much later in the 20th century, it still had this innovative spark.
Yeah, surprisingly, 2 huge American brands, Howard Johnson's and Dunkin Donuts, both founded in Quincy.
Huh. From Presidents and Granite to Hojas and Donuts. That's quite a range.
It really is. But there's this darker detail, almost a foreshadowing. From the years before the Great War, the big one,
Was that?
a controversial zoning plan. It resulted in a raised interstate highway being built literally right over the city's main street.
Over the main street. That sounds disruptive.
Probably seemed modern then. Progress, right. But that highway, well, it becomes chillingly relevant later on. Keep that in mind.
Okay, noted. So flash forward. Nuclear apocalypse happens. The world ends, pretty much.
But Quincy doesn't stay dead. It rises from the ashes. A real post-apocalyptic rebirth.
People resettled the ruins.
Yeah, it grew into a proper community again. Businesses, trade, especially with places like Diamond City, in the old Fenway Park ruins. It was becoming a hub again.
But that success,
Yeah,
it caused problems.
that's the irony, isn't it? By the late 2280s, all that prosperity made it a target. Raiders, other groups,
And the worst were.
the Gunners, a ruthless mercenary outfit. They became the biggest threat.
So that rebirth, that success basically painted a bullseye on Quincy.
Pretty much. And there was someone who maybe saw it coming.
Oh, who was that?
Our sources talk about Mama Murphy, a resident in Quincy, known for having, the sight, a kind of psychic ability.
The sight, like she could see the future.
Apparently, yeah. Often helped along by Thames, it seems.
Mm.
Around October 2287, she foresaw Quincy getting destroyed. A specific, dire prediction.
Wow. Okay. How did the leadership take that? Did they just dismiss her?
Well, she tried to warn the mayor, Mayor Jackson, and yeah, some people thought she was just, an insane old woman. But she'd been right before. Her track record convinced the mayor the danger was real, so he didn't ignore it. He sent out a request for
So
help.
Commonwealth Minutemen.
Exactly, the volunteer militia.
They come.
They did. Just in time, actually. A detachment led by a Colonel Ezra Hollis. Preston Garvey was with them, too.
So Garvey, okay.
Yeah.
So they arrived and helped.
Yeah, they fought off the first gunner attack, helped set up defenses. The mayor was incredibly grateful, even let them use his house as their barracks.
Sounds like things were looking up for a moment.
For a moment. But Hollis's group had a huge problem. They were well-equipped, sure, but they were badly outnumbered.
Against a sustained attack.
Exactly. It wasn't going to be enough. Hollis kept sending out calls for reinforcements. Other Minutemen groups...
Did anyone respond?
No, they just never arrived. Or not in time, anyway. They were on their own.
Oh, man. So what could they do? Trapped.
Hollis ordered desperate measures. They filled up the stairwell to the monorail platform, built walkways on the roofs, anything for an advantage. But the gunners just kept coming. Daily attacks.
A siege, basically. Waiting for supplies to run out or the gunners to give up.
Yeah, just waiting, hoping. But then things took a much darker turn. Betrayal.
Betrayal from within.
Not from within Quincy, but from the past. The gunners sent a negotiating party, and leading it was a man named Clint.
Okay. And who is Clint?
Here's the kicker. Clint wasn't just some gunner officer. He was a Minuteman, a 10-year veteran who had defected, turned coat, and joined the mercenaries.
A Minuteman. Leading the attack on a settlement the Minutemen were defending.
Sickening, isn't it? He was now in charge of the whole siege.
That's beyond belief. What happened when he met with Hollis?
He tried to get Hollis to surrender. Hollis refused, obviously. So Clint, knowing Quincy, knowing their defenses from his Minuteman days, he put a special plan into action.
He knew their weaknesses.
He knew Quincy was tough on the ground level, but vulnerable from above, so he targeted that raised highway, the one built before the war.
The highway over Main Street. Hey, don't tell me.
He had his gunners detonate part of the overpass outside the city, created a breach.
So they could get onto the highway.
Exactly. They climbed up onto the structure and attacked Quincy from above, raining fire down.
Oh my God. That pre-war infrastructure became the weapon.
Their ultimate undoing. It was a slaughter, the Quincy massacre. Gunners killed or captured almost everyone, took the city for themselves.
Just horrific. Were there any survivors at all?
A few. Preston Garvey, Colonel Hollis's second-in-command, managed to escape with a handful of others. Just a small group.
They fled into the Commonwealth.
Yeah, seeking refuge. But the gunners hunted them. Chased them as far as Jamaica Plain, killed several more. They eventually lost the trail, though.
But the danger wasn't over just because the gunners stopped chasing.
Not at all. The wasteland itself is brutal. They tried settling in Lexington for a bit. That went disastrously. By the time they stumbled into Concord...
How many were left?
Just 5. Preston himself, Sturgis, Mama Murphy, and June, and Marcy Long. That's it. From a whole town and a Minutemen detachment.
Devastating. And what about Colonel Hollis, the leader who refused to surrender?
Captured. And Clint, the traitor, personally executed him.
No mercy, just pure betrayal.
It was the final nail in the coffin for the Minutemen, really. Quincy falling like that, Hollis executed. The organization was seen as finished. Destroyed.
Public opinion must have plummeted.
Oh, completely. Surviving Minutemen just scattered, went their own ways. The name became mud.
So Clint gets away with it. What happens to him?
He got rewarded, promoted to lieutenant for taking Quincy, put in command of the new gunner stronghold there.
So he's running the place he destroyed.
Pretty much. With 2 senior subordinates, Tessa and Askeet Baker, they set up their main camp right on that freeway overpass.
Rubbing it in, basically. Using the very tactic that won them the city.
Seems like it. And they quickly got communications running with their main HQ at the GNN Plaza. Solidified their hold.
But running a mercenary outpost?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not easy. Especially for a former Minuteman.
No, our sources say he had trouble. Internal strife. His own troops were skeptical of him, because of his past.
And mercenaries get bored without a fight.
Exactly. They got disorderly. Clint had to actively manage that, sending out scout teams to keep them busy.
Trying to keep control.
Yeah, he even stationed Tessa away from the main camp. Apparently, she was a bit of a disruptive influence. Trying to keep a lid on things.
More problems cropped up, though, right? Something about prisoners.
Yeah, that's mentioned. Several Quincy prisoners were lost. The circumstances aren't specified, but it angered Clint's troops. Made things even more unstable.
So, more unrest. He needed a distraction.
Seems that way. He needed a new target to focus his unruly troops, and he set his sights on the Atom Cats' garage.
Why them?
Power armor. The Atom Cats were known for their collection of power armor suits, a valuable prize and a good way to get his troops motivated and out of his hair for a while.
So looking back at this whole saga, what does it all mean? Quincy's story is just, wow.
It really is dramatic, isn't it? From this beacon of American history and ingenuity
Yeah, president's industry.
to a post-apocalyptic haven
Yeah.
built back up through sheer will, only to be crushed again. And crushed by a combination of factors: foresight that wasn't quite enough, a strategic weakness, and that chilling betrayal.
And it's fascinating, like you said, how the things that made it strong, the resources, the infrastructure, like that highway, became his downfall.
That's the really striking part. It highlights something profound, I think. Quincy's fate, both way back in history and after the apocalypse, was constantly shaped by its environment and what people built there,
From the natural harbor drawing settlers.
to that raised highway becoming an attack route. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What role does the physical place and the structures we build always play in how communities rise and fall? No matter the time period, no matter the challenges.
Something for you, our listener, to definitely think about. The enduring power and perhaps the danger of the places we call home.